one more segment of Velocity Virtual Book Squad. We are on every Wednesday live on Facebook and on YouTube. I'm your host, J. Danielle McCoy, and today we have with us in our studio, oh my goodness, I cannot even describe this man accurately, but I'm going to try. He is my longtime friend, but he is also such a gift to the world itself and a gift to the beauty industry. None other than celebrity hairstylist Dr. Toby the King Leverette.
What's up, Danielle?
What's up? Thank you so much for being here with me. Thank you for accepting
Thank you for inviting me.
the invitation. And we wanted to just have you on. You know, I came to you, I think, back in September and got my hair done. And we were sharing the fact that we're both authors. You've been an author longer than I have, but I was sharing my book and you said, well, hey, Danielle, I've written one too. So I brought you the copy of my book.
Absolutely.
Rescue Me. You know, I have to put this plug in every week. Thank you.
Yeah, it was really good.
And after I brought you the book, you went in the other room and you came out with this gem.
Wow.
And you gave it to me, A Silent Recovery. So we're just going to jump right into the interview so you can let us know about your book and just what prompted you to write the book. So you can just start off by telling us a little bit about yourself and then just get into what prompted you to write the book.
Okay, well, just a little bit about myself. I'm just a country boy, you know, that I can honestly say that God just graced and favored.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I am originally from a small city called Leverette, Alabama. Lafayette.
I've heard Lafayette.
Right. But we call it Leverette.
Mm-hmm.
So I am from there. Actually, after I grown up and everything, I moved to Opelika, Alabama, in which I currently reside there.
Okay.
You know, and I also work out of Opelika in Atlanta.
Okay.
And most people know me, I guess you would say, around the world from my work, like with different celebrities, you know, movie sets and all those kind of things. You know, that's basically who I am. Just Toby.
Great. Now, you said something that made me come up with another question before we get into the book. Now, with becoming a celebrity status, can you give us just a little insight on what that journey was like? Like, who was the first celebrity that you styled? How did you get the invitation? Because I know that many of us found out about you through Bronner Brothers.
Right.
Because you're a Bronner Brothers platform artist, correct?
Right.
And you
also won Bronner Brothers.
And I'll say you've won Bronner Brothers. So what was the title that you won?
I won the competition. It was Tournament of the Champions.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, what happened was I did not even supposed to be in the competition.
Really?
They needed like a 9th contestant in order to make the tournament, because it was like a 3-round elimination.
Okay.
You know, and so they just kind of filled me in because they said that they felt like I could compete with all the winners from all over this country.
Oh, wow.
I mean, some of the most amazing hairstylists. And so I competed, never had a dream or thought that I would win, you know, needless to say, but I just went in it, you know, and I just said, God, I'm just going to do whatever it is that you've graced me to do. And I remember saying when we went on the stage, because it was like before about 20 or 30,000 people.
Wow.
I remember saying, I said, God, I really want you to get the glory out of my being here tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And so they actually asked the question. I remember they asked all of the contestants what prompt their looks.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of me talking about my look, I said, what prompted my look is I wanted to bring glory to God.
Hallelujah.
And the crowd just went up, you know, the audience just started clapping and all that. But it was from a sincere place, you know, it was authentically who I am, you know, and it is what I said when I stepped out on this stage. I was nervous, you know, but needless to say, when we made it to the last round, my assistant, because we had like assistants there, she told me, she said, Toby, you're going to win. I said, think so? You know, and she said, you're going to win. And when they announced the second place winner, and it only left me, and all I could do was tears just begin to roll down my face.
Oh my
and I was in a place like this on stage, just hands lifted up.
Hands and giving glory.
I mean, just giving God glory.
Wow, and that's great. I'm telling you, I've got chills. And guys, we do have a live studio audience. I know y'all could feel that too. Just the presence of God in his testimony. I was listening this morning. I was getting dressed to T.D. Jakes, and he was talking about that destiny moment, that appointed time, that divine moment. So that one moment changed the face of your career. And now your history, your walking history. Everybody knows Toby the King. He did that. He took that Bronner Brothers competition and he aced it. But it's great to hear that it was all for the glory of God. And I know that. And we are going to get into the book, y'all. I promise you. But I know that that's your heart, because I remember, and of course we've known each other. Oh my God. It's been at least maybe 15 or 16 years, if not longer.
It's been a long time.
It's been a long time. And I know that every time I've come to you, you've always had positive words, y'all. When you sit in his chair, it's not just going to be like, girl, how you want your hair? But he's going to minister to your spirit. He's going to minister to you when he's doing your hair. And I remember when I came to you, and I want to thank you, because I'm getting emotional, y'all, but I was in one of the darkest places in my life. And you took the time with me doing my hair, and you just kept encouraging me and speaking life to me. And you reminded me of who I am. You said, girl, I've been knowing you for a long time. Danielle, you bad to the bone.
Right.
You better pick up. Yes, you better pick up. And girl, keep going forward in life. So it's an experience coming to sit in your chair. So what I already know that just like I had to go through something, we all go through things. And I'm sure some of your life experiences is what, Leanna, and some of your life experiences is what caused you to write this book. So what brought out of Toby the King a silent recovery?
I want to answer that, but I also want to say something that I remember the actual day that I met you.
I remember that.
The day that I met you, and one of the first things that I said to you, because you were like in my class, I think, or something, and I told you, I said, you're such a beautiful woman of God. And I mean, and you just started crying. I'm like, all I said for you was a beautiful woman of God. But I remember saying that to you. And I just want to interject this right here. So many times in life, we live our life trying to scramble and find things to tell people. But when you make it a lifestyle of finding the good in everybody, it comes naturally. I mean, it just came. I mean, and it's not pretentious. It's not speaking something that is not factual. You know, I mean, you are a beautiful young lady. And I mean, all I did was spoke what God just put in my spirit to speak, you know. I mean, and I want to say that to you again.
Well, thank you. Thank you. And from there, we connected, because I remember we were at Bishop Blue's church. And I remember leading praise and worship, and you were looking at me like, who is this girl with this long blonde hair? Y'all, I used to wear long blonde hair back then. And afterwards, you're right, I was in your class, and that's when we got a chance to connect one-on-one. And we have been friends and comrades ever since. I remember I had my hair salon and I invited you to come in and do some classes at my salon. And yeah, so we've done some work together too. And I have just been grateful over the years when I was in the cosmetology industry to sit at your feet and for you and you and selfless person, y'all. I mean, anything that you want to know about hair, Toby, how you do this hairstyle? All you got to do is do this. I mean, he would share the knowledge. So I'm just so grateful for that. But let's talk about a silent recovery, because I know that you went through some things, and for a while, I guess you were a little quiet.
Absolutely.
And I know people were thinking, what was going on with Toby? And then you gave us this book.
Right. And to answer your question, what prompted me to write the book is because I had lived and God had brought me through a lot of things that the world had not been privileged to. Okay. Because I am a very private person. Anybody that know me know that I'm very, private, as in the sense of, I am not the type of person that tried to live a life hidden, but I'm not the type of person that you won't get to know me through social media.
Gotcha.
So I'm a very private person. And I remember one day I was sitting and God spoke clearly to me. He said, I have allowed you to come through so many things that the world that the world has not known. They will never know, because I shielded you in the midst of it. He said, and the only way that I can get glory is you got to tell your story.
Ooh, yeah.
And so that's what and I wrote it without any hesitation, because I'm not one of those type of people that try to fit up to who people think I am. And all of that is beautiful. But at the end of the day, I just want you to see Christ through something, or else some part of me. So that is what inspired me to tell my story, because this particular book here, everything that I went through, God had me to go through it in silence. I couldn't talk to no one. I couldn't share it with anyone. Yeah. I had prayer partners, all of that I could have went to, but for some reason, this particular journey, God had me to do it in silence. And now I understand why he had me to go through those years of silence. Now I understand.
Wow. And I know it's such a place, because I remember part of what I experienced, and people were like, well, I didn't even know this was going on. I didn't know this is what happened. Now, I did have a very select, I can count them on 3 fingers of people that I was able to talk to about some things, but I heard God just saying, be quiet. And it's in that quiet place, though, that we're able to hear directly from him, because sometimes we can get too many people involved in the conversation, in the situation, and we hear their voice, and their opinions may sound like good advice, but if it's not God advice, if it's not what God needs you to know in that hour, you're going to find yourself in that same place trying to get out of where you are. I want to get to one more question before we take our break, and then we're going to take some questions from the studio audience. But what is the most important thing that you want people to remember when they read your book? I mean, I know there's so many good points in the book that you talked about, people that you dealt with. You also talk about your experiences. You talk about love and relationships a little bit.
Absolutely. Yes. I mean, just to even tap on that and to also answer your question, one part of my book, I went through a very toxic and ungodly relationship. And I mean, I was just, and it wasn't what the enemy put me in, and it wasn't what the devil done. It was what Toby done.
All right.
Yes. It was what Toby done to myself. I can't I can't say the devil. No.
Mm-hmm.
Because once God deliver us from something,
Mm-hmm.
and if we walk back into it, that's on us.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And
Yes, sir.
that is something that I done. So that is one thing, one part of my journey, and just to even go on with that part there, you know, I remember that particular area. It impacted every area of my life, spiritually. I mean, naturally. I mean, spiritually. I am also a church musician. Most people didn't know, but I mean, I didn't want to even play. You know, I will be in church, sitting there, my mind be all over the place. It wasn't focused on what God had me there for. You know, naturally, I gained excessive weight, all of that stuff. I mean, I was very unhealthy. I mean, it was just a toxic place. But I can honestly say, during that whole time, and I mean, and this is not like it was just a month or months. This was some years of silence. And I mean, and I remember asking God one day. I was driving to Atlanta. I said, why is it that I can't go to no one? And I do have some friends that I can tell everything to. But this particular place, I couldn't even tell them. And God didn't even speak right then. But as I was driving to Atlanta, God led me to cut my music off and driving to Atlanta. He said, this is why. And he began to speak to me. I'll never forget it. And he began to minister to me. He said, I reserved and preserved this place so that can't nobody get glory out of this. Not even you, Tobey.
All
But
right.
me.
Yes.
And God just began to lay out a map of escape out of what I and even after I heard I know I heard him, Pastor Danielle, but this is another part of the book. I went through depression, and I'm like, you mean to tell me I'm going through depression behind obeying the voice of God?
Wow.
You know, I mean, so there's you know, but the thing that I want people to get the most out of my book is to know, not in all places God will have you to go to a prayer partner. And I'm not saying there is nothing wrong with prayer partners. There is nothing wrong. Sometimes God wants you to come directly to him.
Yes.
Sometimes he will shut up every door. He'll shut up every gate in order that you will come directly to him, so that you will know without a shadow of a doubt. You won't question if this is God or not. And God just had me to go through that. And that is the thing that I want people to know, that sometimes there is nothing wrong with silence. There is nothing wrong with silence. We're in a world today where everybody think that you got to tell everything. You got to talk. You got to share. People, we've been made to believe that sometimes we feel, well, most times, because sometimes we do, sometimes we don't, that we feel better when we share things. Well, sometimes when you share things, it can push you in a darker place, especially if it's something that you're believing God for. And the reason that I say that is, and I'm going to give you an example, and it's a part of my book too, that if God tell you, I'm going to bless you to do such and such ABC, okay, and if you go tell your best friend, they're going to come at some point if it don't come into fruition, and to say, okay, well, I thought you're supposed to be doing that. I thought you're supposed to be doing
Right.
that. That can put pressure on you.
Mm-hmm.
And then it can also cause you to miss the move of God.
That's right.
Because when God give us a promise, sometimes he don't put a date on his promise. All we know is his promise is yes and amen.
That's right.
So we know that it will be revealed,
mm-hmm.
and it will come to pass. You know, so sometimes God will just allow you to, there is nothing wrong with being silent if that's the journey that God will have you to go.
Wow, and you said so much that's powerful. I got like 7 things running through my head at one time. But when you were talking about going to God yourself directly, even as Christians, people that have been in the church for so long, we will be quick to lean on the pastor. We'll be quick to lean on whoever our favorite member in the congregation is, and not go to God directly for the answer, not seek his face. You know, I remember going through my storm, and something that I've known of for a long time to do, but I honestly, even as a pastor's wife or a minister in church, I had not prayed and fasted the way that I did over this last year. And what I found out on the other side of this is when I took the time to lay on my face and talk to God about my issues, when I took the time to turn the plate down and say, God, okay, this is me coming. I want you to see how serious I am about this and getting the answer, because it ain't about nobody else. But God, I want you to speak to me, and I want you to fix me, and I want you to work on who I am, because we know that fasting ain't for God to be this genie in a bottle and make everything happen, but it's for him to get us ready. And when I went to him directly, I have gotten results that I've never, ever gotten. And it was going to God one-on-one. Y'all,